Hi everyone! So today I'm going to be doing a bit of a quick haul video. So anyone who knows me will know I absolutely love books, like I am always reading. And so one of my favourite shops to go into to get books is called Waterstones. I wanted to do a bit of a haul on the really amazing Fantastic Beasts stuff I got. So these came out before Crimes of Grindelwald came out, and I ended up buying them and like ordering them in advance because I just wanted to know as much as I possibly could about the film before I watched it. So this was the first one I bought. This is the first book that we had that was about Crimes of Grindelwald or featured anything to do with Crimes of Grindelwald. So this book shows the newspapers that you can see in the first Fantastic Beasts film. They've got interviews with the cast members in here, the art designers, with the director, with the costume designer. One of my favourite things on this double spread is dress like McCoose's director of security. Of magical security. You've got some nice little inserted shots of Colin Farrell. There's a whole double page spread on the Goldstein sisters and interviews with Catherine Waterston and Alison Sudol. So then at the back, however, you've got this, which is not newspapers. So this is a behind the scenes preview of the Crimes of Grindelwald. Now there wasn't anything new in here, there was no pictures that hadn't already been released at this point reminding us of the characters. So you've got like Credence here and that he's alive, Scamander's book signing, and like this is the new cover that they had for the first edition of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Got something about little Tina Goldstein and Newton Tina. Oh, they look so good together. This was just like a few sort of pages just like to pique our interest about Crimes of Grindelwald. So I got the next two books together. So this one is Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts, a spellbinding guide to the films. Now this is definitely a must-have for fans of the Wizarding World. It shows the links between the two of them. So for example, this is like Welcome to the Films, and so you have Harry on one side and Newt on the other. So it goes into a lot of detail, and it does it in like quite a creative way. So you've got like little mind maps of how to get, for example, getting around, magical ways to travel, and they tell you about each of them. And you've got like beast transportation, so you've got the ship from Durmstrang and Festrals and hippogriffs. You've got a little page on pureblood wizarding families, and we've got a bit of the Black family tree here, which I actually really like. It goes far back, and so you can see how Sirius and Bellatrix are related. You've got Tonks and Teddy Lupin here, Draco. You've got the Weasley family tree here. Obviously the descendants of Arthur and Molly Weasley, so you've got their 7 children listed, and then the branches going off into Arthur and Molly's grandchildren. Like Ron and Hermione's children are on this tree. You can see James, Albus and Lily are on this tree. It's so cool. They've got a page as well about no-mages and how they fit into the Wizarding World. So Muggles, no-mages and squibs. And also here you've got the enemies of magic, so that would be Mary Lou and the Barebone family / the New Salem Society. You've even got like a little page, like a little double spread on occupations you can have in the Wizarding World. I especially love this bit where they talk about the Thunderbird and the Obscurus. Like that artwork is so beautiful. You've even got like a little bit about Nagini here. I've noticed obviously in these making of books she's just referred to as the Maledictus and not Nagini. My favourite part of this book is towards the end where they talk about the spells used in Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts. This is all of the spells used from Philosopher's Stone to Goblet of Fire, and then this page is from Order of the Phoenix to Deathly Hallows Part 2. These are all of the spells that we can be seen in the Fantastic Beasts series. So yeah, this is definitely a must-have if you are a Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts fan. Like if you're a fan in any capacity of J.K. Rowling's magical world, I think you should have this book. You should have a copy of this. At the same time as I bought that one, I also bought this one, which is a magical movie handbook. So this book is like, it's sort of like a little handy guide. This is actually a bit bigger than the first ones was, which is nice. First of all, this just sort of reminds you of the characters we've seen. I like the set out, for example, where they've got, you can see like the character's wand, and they will tell you their full name, their date of birth, their occupation, what house they were in, their family members. With Tina's one, you see her name is Porpentina Goldstein. Obviously Tina for short. It's got her date of birth, which is the 19th of August 1901, her occupation as a MACUSA Aura, you can see like there's a diagram of her wand down here as well. And then it goes into like a little bit of detail about what Tina goes through in Crimes of Grindelwald. So you've got like a little section here dedicated to Newt and Tina, which is really sweet. About how there's like a quarrel with Queenie, how she gets tricked by Yusuf Kama. They've also got pages on the new characters. You've got one for Nagini / the Maledictus. Again, they don't mention her by Nagini. It's just the Maledictus, which I'm assuming is to protect spoilers for people who buy these before they watch the film. There's also one for Theseus. You can see his wand drawn out here. Just like a little bit about Theseus. I like the picture they've got as well of him. He looks really cute in that picture. You also get information on the magical creatures. So the baby Nifflers up here with their daddy Niffler. I especially love the page about the Zawu, which is a giant Chinese creature that Newt tames in the Crimes of Grindelwald. They've also got like sort of spells that are used in Crimes of Grindelwald. And they tell you what each of the spells do. Protego Diabolica, which it conjures a protective circle of fire. I think the best part is at the end of the book they've got a little Fantastic Beast gallery. I think these were actually images that we used on a heat changing mug. So these are like outlines of the characters and they're so cool, like the way that they've been designed. So for example with Tina's, you can see she's got the Makusa emblem of the phoenix. And then with Newt, that seems to be like a kelpie coming out of the water. I know a lot of people were theorising that that was like their Patronuses, but I don't. I think it was just something cool to look kind of special. Grindelwald has like the moon, it appears, like the moon, and because also it looks like there's like a Thestral carriage, so maybe that's like alluding to the whole him escaping from Makusa and stuff. Queenie's here is like a moth, and a moth symbolises change, and she even like wears a moth on her dress, so I just think that's really cool. Oh, I love this one where you've got Tina and Lita, just like they look so cool. I wonder if these are in the colouring book that I'm about to talk about. And you get like some nice little concept art of the creatures. So I don't think we saw this one in Crimes of Grindelwald, but I've heard someone say it might be a Hinky Punk. The 16th November when the film came out, I bought a ton of books from Waterstones. The Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald colouring book. A lot of people think that colouring in is just for children, but it actually is a really great way of relieving stress. I have a Harry Potter colouring book, a Lord of the Rings one, and I actually do have the one for the first Fantastic Beasts film. I've found that colouring in is really fun to do. It takes your mind off of stress, and as someone who suffers from generalised anxiety disorder, I found that sitting down for a few hours and colouring in, and especially if it's something I really love, you know, it's just a really great way of relieving stress and kind of keeping grounded. I haven't started colouring in anything yet, but it's got quite a lot of pictures in it. One picture I'm really excited to colour in is this one. I really love this. So it's the book signing for Newt's book. So you can see you've got Bunty, Newt's assistant, and Newt and Lita and Theseus. So I'm really looking forward to colouring that in. They've got the Fantastic Beasts you can colour in. So we've got Newt riding a kelpie. It's going to be so much fun to colour that in. I can't wait. Light, camera, magic. The making of Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald. With the first film, I bought all the making of books I possibly could, because as someone who does a drama degree and maybe one day wants to go into acting, just seeing like all the behind the scenes stuff, how they film it and stuff like that, it's just so much fun for me to read about, and it's just so interesting. This book has got some new pictures, so I love this one of Newt at his book signing. He looks like he's forcing a smile in that one. It's got a foreword written by Eddie Redmayne himself. They've got obviously pages for each of the different characters in the film. So for example, they've got one for Theseus Scamander, and as you can see, this is the layout that they have for all of the characters who have pages. So if they have a wand, they have the wand there, and then they've got their name, and if they've got like a double spread, they've got like a little picture there. Like they have like interesting titles. So for example, Theseus Scamander takes charge. Obviously, because Tina is my favourite, I have to show off Tina's one, obviously. So you've got Tina Goldstein toughens up, and then they have about Tina's journey in this film. They have a picture of her. She's got another double spread as well that goes like onto the next 2 pages. She just looks so good. She looks so good, doesn't she? There's some really interesting stuff in this book. I think if you're a Fantastic Beasts fan or a Harry Potter fan or even just a fan of making movies, this is definitely a must-have. The third book I got from Waterstones last week is this beautiful one. So for the first one there was this thing called The Case of Fantastic Beasts, and that was about the making of the first film. So for this one, to keep in with the theme of the whole Case of Fantastic Beasts, we've now got The Archive of Magic. And this is about how they made Crimes of Grindelwald. And this is my favourite one, I feel, out of the two making of books I've bought so far. You open it up, and there's a little thing at the... says that. And this is actually a note that appears in the film. So it says, records moved to Lestrange family tomb at family's request. So that's a thing from the film, which is really cool. So this book, again, it's definitely a must-have. As someone who absolutely loves reading about how they make movies and who's really interested in all of that, I found reading this to be so insightful. This is just such an insightful book, and the best part is that it comes with little pullouts. So for example, on Credence's page, this folds out and you can see his adoption certificate, which has been designed by Mina Lima, who obviously do all the props and design for the Fantastic Beasts series. So as you can see, you've got his adoption certificate. It's all filled out. It's like these little details that make the Fantastic Beasts film so amazing. So obviously, you know, got to talk about Tina as always. So they've got a page, a double spread for Tina's character. And so this is really lovely because you can see you've got like her Makusa identity card there. You've got some stills of her, and then you can see like a glimpse of her field notes from when she's been tracking Credence. So the last book that I purchased last week was, of course, The Crimes of Grindelwald screenplay. I've read it already. I've read it just the once so far, but I cannot wait to read it again. So obviously it's just like the first one in that it's the screenplay of what happens in the film. However, there are a few minor differences here and there that are mentioned in the screenplay. Just, you know, this is obviously a spoiler for both the film and the screenplay. I should have mentioned that earlier. That, for example, like one of the differences is the colour of the flames that Grindelwald conjures. Like in the film, they're blue, but in the screenplay, they're black apparently. There are like moments that you don't see in the film that are in here, like small, like for example, Newt and Tina's hands brushing up against each other. Just sort of stuff like that. Little looks shared between certain characters. So, you know, it's like there's a few differences that I noticed when I was reading through the screenplay. But it's obviously a must for Fantastic Beasts fans. These screenplays of the movies are obviously the closest we're going to get to books of the stories that are being told. So like the Harry Potter movies, we obviously knew what was going to happen because we had the books. But with the Fantastic Beasts series, we don't have books with the stories in them beforehand. So this is the closest that we're going to get to having those stories in paper form. That's obviously a must-have for Fantastic Beasts and Harry Potter fans, I'd say. So I took another trip up to Waterstones in Kingston yesterday, and I bought two very, very cute things. They're not books, which is a bit embarrassing because Waterstones is a bookstore, but they're extremely adorable. I would like to introduce everyone to Patches and Caramel. I was originally only going to buy this one, but then I walked into the shop, picked him up, and I was about to queue, but I kept on looking back, and Caramel was looking at me, and I felt a little bit guilty picking one over the other. There are two other colours this comes in, so there's a black one and a blue-grey one. They didn't have those in my Waterstone store, unfortunately, but these were the two that they had, and I couldn't take one and not the other. They're so soft and they're so small. You could just like tuck them into your handbag and just pull them out, and you could just sit there stroking it, and people would probably just think you've got like a guinea pig or something. Okay, so that's all for today, guys. As always, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next video.